The moon mission has started. What's happening? What is the reason for the absurdity of XRP $2.28? Bitcoin isn't moving as strongly as XRP at the moment either when compared to Ethereum or any of these other coins. Why is XRP grabbing the lead? In the video for today, that is the subject of our investigation. Why is all of this occurring? Although some folks did call this move right, like the C's above, which is horrible work. Look at this, man. This is ridiculous. Extra P Army. We're going to have a $15.00 extra P summer piece by July 24th, 2025. Double ditches are on the horizon. So if that was the peak bottom at roughly $1.62, we would call that. However, as this came from Wartors above, we give credit where credit is due to whoever calls the bottoms and tops. Your XRP army should have the bottom on XRP by June 4th or the 6th, days before this even occurred. This is just ridiculous work because it's a lot easier to predict where XRP will go to a given price than it is to predict the precise day, the location of a bottom. Guys, this occurred on June 5th. Correct. I mean, this is crazy. And now he's saying that we're talking about double digits in the upcoming months. July, wait, that's next month. That's next month, end of next month, right? He's saying this, I believe, because he's copying a fractal from the past, which I believe is from 2017. That's right, a fractal from back here, guys. Oh, all right. So he asked us directly, where are we at right now? Where are we at this moment? We're right here, guys, where a symmetrical triangle or other bullish pattern is forming right now, a continuation pattern that leads us to the next level. And we're right there, guys, about to experience $15.00 at the end of next month if this chart plays out or history repeats itself, he says. Therefore, are we now very, very bullish? Let's look at why this pump has suddenly moved to a daily time frame, people. On the 12th, hourly and the daily, there are bullish divergences that were verified only a day or two ago. So that's definitely the reason. But there are certain whispers going around that say, mark your calendar, June 17th. This is absurd because the SEC is anticipated to rule on Franklin Templeton's proposed XRP ETF, which may provide institutional investors with direct access to XRP through conventional markets. Guys, this strikes okay on June 17th because look at this, it's so off the act. By June 17th, 2025, the Commission will either accept or disapprove the proposed regulation, or it will start the process to decide whether to do so. Well, so Thursday, June 17th, is the date of the Franklin Templeton Spot XRP ETF. I'll say it again, if this is allowed, this rise will definitely happen, which is why I believe XRP has been pumping. It just happened at random and all at once since it was silent before it abruptly exploded. This appears to be the reason why, if it is accepted on June 17th, the moon has been verified, correct? I reiterate that the moon has been verified because of the institutional liquidity, the spot extra P ETF's institutional inflows. The reason for the high level of interest is that there is a spot extra P ETF plus that is quite bullish since they will be purchasing off the market like a Bitcoin ETF, which will be backed one-to-one by XRP. Guys, there is a lot of interest because XRP is leading this bull cycle. All right. And then there's just a lot of positive energy emerging. So once more, what is happening on June 6th? Vanek Canary Capital and Tony Winchers petition the SEC to bring back the first to rule, as in non-crypto situations. The first to file rule grants ETF approval based on who applies first. Therefore, it appears that they are getting ready to push out these ETFs, particularly for XRP, which will once more be incredibly positive. In addition, on Friday, June 5th, the Grayscale Digital Large Cap Fund was established. I went so far as to say that they ought to have given XRP more weight than Ethereum. I believe we actually stated this in the last video. Or one of the men, since XRP is simply so optimistic, isn't it? XRP will therefore moon 3 times as hard, if not 5 or 10 times as hard as Bitcoin, right? However, once more, this is where things start to get a little strange or intriguing, perhaps, given that the Fed will lower rates at the upcoming FMC on June 19th. Now that it's official, people are speculating based on a rumor that the next FMC would lower rates at the next FOMC meeting. But when will it happen? Why is that so wild in 9 days or 10 days from now? Why is that so strange, considering that they will decide on an additional peer ETF on June 17th and what occurs a day later? What are the possibilities of this happening during the FOMC meeting, which the market is speculating on or stating that they will keep rates for the time being, but once more? Isn't that crazy? So So have they not yet refiled it? What is the current status of the case? 20 days later, the SEC, Ripple and district courts have not yet filed a refile, and the deadline has come up. Our scores were 16th, 17th and 18th. They literally arrived by 3 o'clock. Literally. I'm not. Is it the reason we're pumping? Right on the front of every single bullish news story, anticipate the refile before only visitors arrive by then, as the status updates in the Second Circuit are imminent. The parties submit the status report. The Second Circuit will only have tourists rejecting the first request, and the briefing will begin if there are no outstanding matters before tourists resume the briefing. The Second Circuit will probably postpone it for an additional 60 days if a move was still pending before tourists at the time of the 616 status report. What comes next then? Tarouz's message was rather clear. Both sides must ask for forgiveness, whatever it takes to get it done. Ripple will say it, but how much and what kind of graveling is the SEC willing to undertake will be approved, and we have 12 days to find out. Again, within that time frame, guys, correct? So yes, it's going to be explosive again. What is that? Well, that's next week. Everything takes place the week after June 4th. You then believe that we're making things up. No, we aren't, since we have the calendar for the next full moon. We also want to view the next full moon, which is on June 11, correct? Let's now discuss the moon's potential from the perspective of the charting guy. Right now, there's a good chance that June 5th was our significant pivot low. From the 8th to the 11th, Astro becomes bullish once more, and the full moon itself is highly bullish. Okay, so let's discuss what happens after we watch this video for a moment. But once more, what is happening with XRP? We simply saw a very small moon on the right, but it was still quite bullish. For next week, there will be a surge in positive energy, all right? Bullish catalysts or outside events. There's the one thing I'm keeping an eye on, okay? If the moon is right, we have to go beyond 250 first. Oh, well, if we can accommodate 250, then people will be lining up. Isn't it about $3? But at this moment, I'm only keeping an eye on this level, which is the only significant level I'm monitoring for. 285. I'll say it again. The celestial portals will open if 285 is assaulted in this way. The gates of heaven, often known as the heavenly portals, open wide. 285. All fine. Just keep an eye out for 285 on your chart and enter it. Put it on paper. I'll say it again. The portals to the moon will open if XRP is above that level and serving as support. Why? Since they will then have to pump XRP. 2, on the longer time period, like the weekly and 2-week charts, eliminate any bearish divergences, correct? Therefore, if it remains bullish at that level, it moves to 285 people. If it does, we will just keep pumping until bearish divergences occur on the smaller time frames, on the daily 23.45. Well, until then, we're just going to keep pumping. So for the time being, 285 is the level to keep an eye on. We pumped because this video demonstrates that. Guys, have a look at that. Bullish divergences were confirmed to have created on the daily time frame. That's absurd. And for that reason, we pumped. In addition to the smaller time frames, and I believe on the 12th hourly, yes, there is. It's madness going on, guys. We will easily reach the 240S simply because there is so much liquidity up there, isn't that right? There is a lot of liquidity up there, folks. I found it fascinating that funds were moving from Bitcoin to Ethereum. That's strange, though, because money was moving from Bitcoin into XRP in the exact same way. XRP versus Bitcoin sharply pumped because of this. Correct, above where? Take a look at that. Where are we, guys? This area is situated above this area. I'll say it again, we were repeatedly turned down. Even if we failed there, we've moved past it. We maintain this area at this level. As we stated at the outset, it will be bullish for XRP compared to Bitcoin. Additionally, we can observe bullish breakouts from all XRP structural patterns